right. Welcome to the Baker Experience Academy podcast. My name is Nick Davis, and today I've got a really special guest with me, someone who has worn many hats in the world of food and beyond. Joining me today, guys, is Darren Kam, a chef, entrepreneur, and now a sourdough pasta instructor here at the Baker Experience Academy. Darren, your journey is anything but ordinary. You know, he's worked in hotel kitchens, he's ran his own Western food stall, he's dabbled in motorcycle sales, and now he's teaching others how to master the art of sourdough pasta. If you've ever been curious about learning how to make pasta from scratch, or just, love hearing stories about how people find their way back to their passions, this episode is for you. So listen in. So, Darren, first of all, welcome.
And thank you for inviting me here.
No problem. The first question I have for you is actually, you have such a unique journey from hotel kitchens to motorcycle sales and then running your own food stall. What was it that brought you back to food, and what kept you going through those different transitions?
So that's actually really a funny thing, because I never actually thought that I would come back into culinary again after leaving it for quite a while. So somehow life is funny that way. It really just what's that? You will go through so many experiences, and somehow it never felt the same when I first started culinary. The first dish that I served to people, the feedback that I got, seeing them enjoy a meal. After being through so many industries, it never felt the same. You never felt the satisfaction of actually serving someone in this kind of scenarios, you see. So the transition wasn't really easy. I've been through countless of different industries. I've did culinary. I worked in a hotel. I've actually also worked in a restaurant. I have done sales for motorcycles, gym memberships, even actually went into car wash. I actually wash cars for a living for a while. But somehow I always felt food has always been something that I truly, really enjoy doing, and seeing people's reaction towards what I make. It's really really satisfying to see. And then how to say, uh the transition through all this actually taught me a lot about resilience, and taught me about adaptability and patience. So in a way, going through these challenges in a way brought me back into this journey again. Yeah.
So it's good to say that actually food has always been behind your mind all these while, even though you were doing different things.
It was always something that I believe that everyone would do. Sometimes you go out and eat, you don't feel the satisfactory of eating someone else's food. Sometimes you would want it a certain way, you want it a certain taste, certain texture, and going outside sometimes can be pretty difficult to achieve, to achieve that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And cooking it definitely will, So it always comes back that I prefer to make my own meals. Yeah.
Interesting. And how about okay, so you've run Western food stall and you've done catering, and it all sounds very intense. But what are some of the biggest lessons that you have learned during those entrepreneurial years?
So those years were actually really intense. It wasn't easy, but honestly, thanks to those years of experiences, it really helped grounded me. Like I said earlier, life is very unpredictable. You have to be ready to pivot. Sometimes things don't work out. You have to move on, try different things. You have to adapt. And through those years, the biggest lessons that I really picked up along the way was learning to take on responsibilities, learning about time management, and then learning about PR and marketing. So success doesn't just come from making good food. It also is about a balance of learning to maintain a business. And without all this, things can get pretty, crazy without able to balance all of it. So these are also very important things to keep in mind when doing all this.
Mm-hmm. I'm very curious to like when you were young, as your younger self, was it something that like a skill or talent that you always had, running businesses and stuff, or was it something that you picked up along the way?
Oh, it was something that I've actually picked up along the way that I actually really wanted to try. So I started off, just doing house parties. I actually did catering for house parties. When there's events, people will call me. They need certain amount of packs of food, and I will just prepare. I even did barbecue grilling for certain hip hop events. So it started off from there, and then I decided, why not try a brick and mortar business? So I started small. I run a small kiosk in one of those hawker centers. I did it for a year. Then, like I said, life just happened. COVID came, so things I had to shut down my store for 2 years, and then, somehow life continues, and we adapt and learn something along the way.
So what did you do after the Western food phase?
It was pretty tough because of that. During that time, I actually lost quite a lot because of the COVID. I had to tap out my business, so I actually lost quite a bit of financial over there. But in the end, I took that time to to adapt and learn my mistakes, to pick up other skills and lessons. Like I came over here, wanted to move forward. I wanted to go into cafe, opening a cafe. So I came over here, learn about cafe, learning about coffee. Then I went into baking, and then now I'm teaching pasta here. So it's like life is just
Yeah,
unexpected. It
you
just
didn't
happened.
expect, right? Yeah.
Really didn't expect.
That's it's always a journey when you don't force it and just let
Yeah.
it happen. That's very special. Okay, so great. Now that we're here, and now that you are teaching classes here, okay, I think the ultimate question is this sourdough pasta.
Yeah.
Look, I am a big fan of pasta, any kind of pasta, But when I heard sourdough and pasta together, it's like my brain's going all crazy and stuff.
Right.
So, what drew you to this? Like, why sourdough pasta, and how did you get started with it?
I actually picked up the idea from the Baker's Experience Academy. When I first came here, I wanted to learn about baking bread, and they had sourdough class. I was like, okay, why not just try something different? I've never really actually baked much, so picking up that when I went through the class, I got a little bit of understanding regarding about sourdough discard and the usage of it, the benefits, the potential of it, and that got me interested. So after picking up the class from Baker's Experience Academy, I started to experiment on it. I went back home. I started using sourdough discard, trying to figure out how it could help. So like sourdough is all about balance, about fermentation and flavor. So thinking about all these three, and putting it together with pasta, which is something that I really love growing up. Like you said, pasta is something that you
Yeah,
enjoy a lot, right?
yeah,
So I just thought, why not? It's something interesting, and you could potentially make it a healthy option as well for
yeah.
yourself. Yeah. So like I feeling excited. I started trying it out. And who knew that I'm actually back here from where I started learning it, and I'm actually sharing it with others as well.
So, is it sourdough pasta? Is it something you created, or is it common in the market, or what? Is this something new that you created, or?
So this is definitely not something I have created,
Yeah.
but it's something that people have already. There are people who experiment on it,
Okay.
and it's actually still, I think, really new currently in Malaysia
Okay.
itself. Like I've seen a couple of places do it.
Yeah.
It does promote a healthier option because of the fermentation.
Okay.
It's easy for you to digest,
Right.
and people with more sensitive, stomach, this kind of pastas may help because of the benefits that sourdough
Yeah.
actually provides you. Yeah.
It has probiotic as well because of the fermentation,
Yes.
right? Yeah. And how about the taste? How does it? Sorry. How does it? What's new about the taste?
So like, you guys have you tried
I've
sourdough?
never tried it
Yeah,
before, so
okay.
I'm very curious to see how you describe it, so I can imagine or try it one day.
So if you have tried sourdough or know about sourdough, it's very unique. The
Yeah.
taste, it's very tangy. It's you can feel the taste is a little bit sourish, tangy flavor. So when you add it with the pasta and especially leaving it to ferment, the flavor is just, I tell you, it's something extraordinary.
Yeah. Is it more chewy as well? Is because of the sourdough texture?
It depends on the pasta that you're making.
Okay.
Like, if you make string noodles, and also depends on well, depends on the discard you're using as well. How strong the flavor of the discard.
Hmm.
It varies, honestly. It
Okay.
really varies, but more or less, it will still have the fresh pasta's texture of
Nice.
chewiness. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to try it. Maybe, hopefully, from you one day.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is probably for someone who is listening and watching right now. If someone were to be very curious about joining your class, what can they expect? Like, is it beginner friendly, or do they need a little bit of experience first when it comes to baking before they join your class? How does it work?
So I would say that my class is definitely beginner friendly. Like you don't really need much prior knowledge, but if you do have experience handling dough, then picking this class might be a lot easier if you have understanding of how dough structure works and everything. But with that said, I try to make this class more. I'm making this class, create this class more to be a supportive environment for students to understand what and learn the craft. You see, so like they can learn it at their own pace, and I'm there to guide them throughout the whole process. So like for students' expectation, I feel that they will learn everything hands on here. They have a clear understanding of the usage of ingredients, and here they're over here will help them build their confidence so that they can go back home to make their own pastas as well. Yeah.
So throughout to all these things that you've done now, ended up teaching now here at the Baker Experience Academy. Um, I am quite curious to see like all the things that you've done so far. Being wearing different hats. How does that influence your cooking? Number one, and also how does that influence the way you teach?
So I feel that my cooking and my teachings are quite different. My cooking are, as you can see, that I've actually transitioned through many careers and many departments and stuff like that. I feel that my cooking is more experimental. But I tend to go back to the basics and try to perfect my basics still, even though how experimental I am. I love concocting new stuff. I like trying new stuff, but I also try to go back to my basics lah. What else for my teaching style? I would describe my style as I'm more approachable and transparent. I love to share whatever I know, whatever I've picked up over the years. I love to share what I can to my students. Whatever I know, you will be basically learning it in class. I would love to, focus on the techniques that they can pick up, so that cooking should be fun. To me, cooking should be fun. It shouldn't be stressful at all.
Well, can we segue a little bit to the? Yes, I mean, since you
Okay.
mentioned stressful, I'm just
Okay.
curious as someone who is talking to you right
Okay.
now, because I do know that you work in hotel kitchens before, right? And I've never been in hotel kitchens. I've seen TV shows. It can be a very stressful environment. Is How true is that when it comes to a TV show compared to actually in real life?
So I really feel that for TV shows, it's sometimes really dramatic, really, really dramatic. It's like they overemphasize on the whole drama.
Yeah.
It can be pretty intense, very stressful, especially since we are working in a very hot environment. Things can happen. Honestly, things can happen. Um, but I would feel like if you would have to watch the show like The Bear.
Oh, right. Yeah. Of
Yeah, The
course. That's
Bear.
extremely
That's
stressful.
actually
'Cause
stressful.
yeah.
But if you were to see actual Michelins, you will never hear a peep of sound.
Wow. Okay.
They are very, very professional. They are very quiet.
Everybody's just focusing on their work in their station.
Everybody knows what they need to do.
Mm.
You don't. It will be a very basic like command or understanding what needs to be next, and everything will be going out smoothly. Those are like the bare Michelin style. Then you got like the hotels. Hotels can be a little bit more noisier, but it's not as dramatic as you see in the shows lah. But it can be very, very stressful because of the workload that we
Workload
get.
and the environment as well. I'm
Yes.
guessing. Yeah. Okay. So this is a fun question.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Have fun with it. I just thought of it. I wanted to ask you if it's the end of the world and today is the last day, and in the next 30 minutes you're going to be getting your last meal. What would that meal look like?
Oh, I would just go for a simple bolognese pasta.
No meatballs.
Meat,
Just sauce
minced
and
meat.
pasta.
Oh,
Wow.
that is. I really grew up loving pastas a lot. Like most of my family members or anybody who knows me will not say that I'm Chinese.
Right.
Like when they ask me what's my comfort food, I would definitely say pasta. Like I grew up loving pastas a lot. So I would definitely still go back to pasta.
See, you guys hear it, right? How can you go wrong learning how to make pasta from someone who loves pasta so much? I think this is a perfect fit. All right, man. So before we end, I had just one last question. If someone were, still on the fence about joining, because I do understand, even for myself, when I came in here as a student in the Barista Experience Academy, I was a bit on the fence. I wasn't sure if I'm made for this. I was a bit scared to come and try it out. If someone's still on the fence about joining your class, what would you say to them?
I'll tell them that if they were already considering it in the first place, then they're probably already ready to take the next step. Learning something new, especially about food, can be very rewarding. Especially, if you're trying to show loved ones, people that you love, that you want to show them how much that you really care and love them. I think there's no better way than actually making something delicious and really putting your soul and love into it and giving it to them, you know. And what better way to make a delicious meal with love, you see? And then, so, if you're ready to, roll up your sleeves, to get your hands a little bit dirty, I promise you, you will go back with something valuable after attending this class.
Well, it works for me. I feel like I want to join the class already. All right, guys, you heard it here from Darren. If you guys are interested to join his class, do check out the Baker Experience Academy socials and go from there. But yeah, thank you so much, Darren, for being here today and sharing your experiences and your story. I'm very inspired through all your experience and your challenges and stuff. I feel that it's very inspiring to hear from somebody who has I would say, what is that word? To really have stuck to what they really love and came back to it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So guys, once again, Darren Kam. You guys have a great day.